So you're itching to pack all of your belongings up, throw them in a vehicle and travel the big wide world. The only issue is you don't have much money. How are we possibly going to manage to have the best time of your life with not zero cash, with a little bit of cash? So there is a little secret I want to fill you in with. And that is that money is a handy tool. Obviously it's great to have, but it's not your boss. And what I mean is that money should not be the reason that you decide to do something or not. You don't want to miss out on an amazing experience just because you wanted to save your money to buy a new pair of shoes. Experiences are worth a lot more, and I've experienced some magical moments in my life, and they were just with 50 cents in my pocket. That being said, how are we going to tackle this guy? The elephant in the room. The minimal money problem. And as you can see, this van is a pretty luxurious van that we built, and it's got all your bells and whistles, and it's very spacious. You can stretch out, do some cool things. I can jog on the spot, but you don't need all of this to be traveling around. It hasn't always been like this for us. It's taken a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of sweat, an occasional moment of blood. You don't have to travel this way. You can travel with next to nothing, and you can still be very, very happy doing so. So let me explain to you how it's all possible. Me and my partner Ashley both started this lifestyle before we even met, both with the same vision of exploring this wonderful country that we live in. Ashley had a Ford Falcon which cost $1,500. She basically just folded the back seats down and then built a bed frame in the back and put her mattress on top, and then she built some storagey areas all around, added some fairy lights, and it kind of just felt like a little gypsy wagon in a Ford Falcon. It sounds like a band name. Gypsy wagon in a Falcon. And when we first met, this was the car that Ashley had, and we ended up selling it, and we truly do miss that car. And my vehicle was a $1,800 Mercedes MB140D, which I found on Facebook for $1,600, and I messaged the guy, and he said there was too many people interested in the van, so I knew I needed this vehicle, so I offered him $200 extra. And it was a 3-hour drive, which my friend Holly gave me a lift there and back for, so thanks Holly. And I was set with an empty van, and I knew it was love at first sight, so I named her Shakira. The next milestone for me was to build it into a little home that I'd be comfortable with, but most importantly it'd be affordable, because I didn't have a crazy amount of money. I'd just finished working on some farm and cashed in a little bit of money and wanted to save a lot of it just for traveling around. So I pretty much just used recycled materials like pallet wood and some hand-me-downs from some friends. I probably only spent about $200, including all the solar that I found from Facebook. I just lowballed everyone, hoping someone would say yes, which they did, which was great. Don't be afraid to lowball, just be polite about it. And that was the start of a lot of learning curves. The start of a lot of learning curves. I didn't really have much idea on building. I had a little bit of an idea on building things, but using a hand drill I was okay at, using a saw I was okay at, and that was pretty much as far as I would go with knowledge. So I had to learn a lot of things building this van, and there was a lot of problems too which I had to fix. So if you're gonna get a van, build it yourself and learn a lot from it. And I remember the feeling when I had finally finished the build. It felt amazing that I had created something which I had envisioned, and I could sleep comfortably, I could cook comfortably, and I could live out of this van and travel. I was very excited to go and set off onto the big open road and drive to my heart's content. So once you have your vehicle and you're set up, what are you gonna do now? You might have a little cash or maybe no cash, but you still want to travel. Now this was the hardest thing for me to work out, because I was on a budget. I had pretty much no money a lot of the time, but you have to manage to buy food and fuel. So what are you gonna do? My best option was to slap on a smile walk into a shop and ask if they've got any jobs available. And if you have the confidence just to walk straight in and give your best performance of your personality, then who knows? They might just say, "We were looking for someone and we were going to post it online, but you are right here and we'll take you." And that's pretty much how I got most of my jobs traveling around. I just moved to a town and just looked for a job straight away so I could settle down a bit, have some money coming in, buy some food, and just chill out. I'd normally just work for around 3 months, save up as much money as I can, and then travel for the next 3 months without working until I found somewhere else that I'd want to stay for a little bit of time. My ultimate dream was to work on the computer so that I can work in my own time. I don't have to put on a uniform and go to work and then come home all tired. So if you do have a job online or you work for yourself, then there is no excuse for you to not start traveling today. And what I'm basically trying to say is that traveling on a low budget is pretty much just a mindset. Like, do you need to buy a new t-shirt for $60 when there's loads out there in op shops for $4, giving you $56 left to buy groceries or more fuel to carry on traveling? If you want to travel for cheap, then you just gotta do it cheap, which in the long term gives you a lot more travel time, I guess you would call it. You can stay on the road for longer without burning all of your cash out too quickly. And if you are a little bit of a cheapskate, then here are 2 app suggestions that will help you out. Number 1. So this first app is called Petrol Spy, and this is in Australia. I'm not sure if it's worldwide, but in Australia it's called Petrol Spy, and it basically just has a map of all of the petrol stations around your area with all the prices on it. And you can also expand the map bigger, so if you're traveling further you can see all the prices in different regions, so you can see the cheapest compared to the most expensive. And that's how much money you're pretty much saving. So if you're filling your whole tank up, then obviously go for the cheapest, because you save money. Number 2 is free camping apps like Park for Nights and Campermate. And these apps are basically just for finding places that you can park for free, and these places are left by other people, and they basically just show where you can camp, where there's amenities, where there's water, when there's toilet dumping stations if you need. And it basically just shows you everything that's free, so you don't have to pay for a campsite, and that'll further your money. So you found a van and you're ready to buy it. And to be honest, the only real risk is the investment of the money that you spend in this van. I'd recommend buying a van that's a little rough around the edges, has a few dents in it, or the paint's a bit funky, and just move into it. Obviously make sure it's mechanically good and it's safe to drive. And don't bring everything with you. Cut down a lot of your stuff, try living minimally, and just enjoy traveling. Enjoy the solitude when it's just you and your van on a rainy night. And enjoy meeting loads of new amazing people that are doing the same thing as you, because the community of van life is huge. And if the worst comes to worst and your van decides to take its last breath, then make sure you didn't put your whole soul into it and you're prepared for this to happen. Just be mindful that you might have to move on from this van. And if you're okay with that, then financially you have nothing to worry about. I decided to move on from my first van, and that was after about a year of traveling in it. I ended up selling the van for $9,000, meaning that I made $7,000 worth of profit. And as this happened, it sparked an idea in my brain to use that money to build another one, bigger and better. So if any of this advice helps you guys out, then feel free to give one of those, or one of the old subscriptions or whatever. Or you can leave a comment if there's some pieces of advice which I've missed out on. And make sure you just do it. Just have fun. If you're sitting in your room and you don't know what to do, just pack your things up and travel. Spend a little bit of money and just enjoy your life. See you later.